All right, guys. Well, it is officially January, like, I don't remember if it's the 3rd or the 5th. I think it's the 4th, actually. And 2026. So new year, new project. Still got a lot of plans for the Dakota, but all takes time and money. So we got this bad boy. A couple of y'all probably already know just by looking at this thing what it is. It is a I believe it is a 1974, the Honda CB400F. I'm going to give a little backstory on this bike. I'll keep it short as possible, but I do want to give some backstory because it's kind of some cool history for me anyways. This bike, which started out as kind of a, again, 1974 Honda CB400F halfway cafe racer. It had cafe racer style, but it was a little bit hacked together. This is my buddy's bike, Mason. We were roommates together and co-workers together when I lived down in Florida. Long story short, not long after I moved to Florida for a brief period of time, I bought a like 1973 or 1975 CB350 4-cylinder as well. He loved it. We both wanted to ride together, so we got our motorcycle license together down there in Florida, and then we found him this, and I will put some original pictures of what it looked like on the day we bought it. We called it the Snot Rocket because it had this unique green paint job with like white stripes. It's a little different. It didn't look bad, but it was a little bit different. So it went commonly and fondly by as the Snot Rocket is what we called it. So anyways, to make a long story short, I did some work on mine. We did a couple little things on his. The wiring was a mess on it. Had a bunch of bad oil leaks on the engine back here. So we tore it all apart to kind of how you see now. Went through, fixed all the oil leaks, reground the valves, like reseated the valves into the head. Didn't do anything on the bottom end. His wasn't burning any oil, so he decided to leave the piston rings and stuff like that alone. But we did, you know, all the gaskets aside from the case half gaskets because that involves splitting the whole engine apart. Started putting it back together. Never got around to it. I moved shortly after when I got married back up here where I'm at now in West Virginia. And he just never got around to it. He just didn't have the time. He was real busy and just, you know, never got time to putting it back together. We always talked and dreamed about putting it together because that was how we started the project and we were having a blast, you know, putting it all together and stuff. And it just never worked out. So he ended up getting married. He's actually down towards the Miami area now in Florida, and at the moment doesn't have the space for this. So when we went down for his wedding, he was like, hey bro, would you want to, like, I would love for you, if you want to, take the cafe bike back and, you know, put her back together. Kind of gave me free reign to do what I want to do with it as far as modifications go and things we want to add and stuff like that. So I was like, bro, I would love to. Like, that's awesome. Let's do it. So that's kind of where we're at now. That's kind of keeping the story short. As little bits and pieces pop into my mind, I'll mention them. But we had a lot of fun. I mean, it always worked fine. It just, you know, it wasn't pretty. Mine wasn't pretty either. But we would just cruise down 30A in Panama City Beach and just driving down by the beach. It was a great time. We had a lot of good memories. So I'm honored and super excited to actually be able to put this thing back together for him. And the plan is he is going to take it back at some point. I'm just going to work on it here and there when I have time, piece it back together, update him, ask him how he wants things done. You know, he's running the build. I'm just kind of putting it together. But he did give me, I basically told me, hey, do whatever you want to as long as it's nothing crazy, you know, and let's have fun with it. So that's where we're at now. So we've got the frame here, which I forgot to mention. He did paint, so he painted this gloss black. Now it's been sitting in storage for a while, so there are some scuffs and things I'm going to have to go back and touch up. But he did actually a really good paint job on it, and it's super dusty. I wish I could have washed it before the video, but never got around to it. We're leaving the engine alone for now. I think he painted a cover or two on the engine, but we're just leaving that as is. That's not the important part at the moment. But he did do a couple other things, which I've got a bunch of boxes here. Let me unwrap this thing real quick. Oh, come on. So this is the paint color, which is needs wash as well. All this is just so dusty from sitting in storage. I hate to see it dinged up, but it's okay. We'll bring her back. So this is the color he went with, which is a really cool, like, I'll have to try to get the paint color from him, the name of it, but it's this kind of blue, but like a light blue, but real pretty. It looks sweet with the brown seat. This was a piece he bought for the cafe build. This was not the original seat design, but he got this. We already had welded mounts onto the frame for this guy to mount onto. And then he painted the gas tank, the same color as that, which I'm going to leave the gas tank in there now. It is not a Honda CB gas tank, but he actually liked the way it looked. The guy that had already put it on here, he liked the way it looked, so he painted it. We'll leave it there for the storytelling for now. I've got a bunch of boxes of parts to go through, and I'm not entirely sure how I want to tackle this. I should have everything to literally put it back together other than the wheels. He had given it to a guy down in Florida to kind of work on in his time. The guy didn't get very far, got a few things done, ended up despoking the wheels because he was going to do something with them, which is kind of annoying because now if I reuse those wheels, I got to respoke them, which is just kind of annoying because I haven't respoked wheels. I know it's not rocket science. So I may end up even just buying spokes and taking the wheels down to a motorcycle shop and having them spoke them after I powder coat the wheels, have them spoke them and put new tires on them. We'll get to that later though, not the important part. So this is obviously going to be a several part video series. I'm not going to drag this out like the Dakota, I promise. This may take me time just because I want to do it right. I want to do it, like, we are working on a budget. I'm aware of that. I may contribute a few parts where I can just because there's certain things that I want to put on here that, you know, he may just not want to spend the money on, but I really want to see go on here. So I'm excited to get into this thing. I think we're going to start on this by I think we're just going to start by getting the engine back in there, even if it's just kind of temporarily bolted in, and kind of just start basically piecing it together. Because once I get the engine in, I can put the tank, like the tank and seat and rest them on there, and then start sifting through the wiring. All right, guys, she is in. Took me a little bit longer than I was planning because I had to sift through all the bolts and stuff, and I think I found everything and got it in the places it needs to go. It's all just kind of loosely bolted in there. I need to find something to stick under this front end to kind of support it. Okay. It's fairly stable. Paint took a little more damage than I was hoping it would, but not gonna lie, I haven't put one of these back together in a long time. I was a little rusty. None of the bolts made sense. I forgot that this rod right here is so long because it's got the foot pegs that go in it. Once I remembered that, it kind of clicked. Anyways, the swing arm will mount through this bolt back here, but this is what we're looking like here. So this is what we got. So again, it's just roughly in there. Nothing super bolted down. You can see we missed one of the brackets when he was painting it. No big deal. We'll take care of that. Gonna need a lot of touch-up paint anyways. But yeah, this is how it's sitting right now. And then I've got a box full of stuff down here. The guy, bless his heart, the guy who was doing it was trying to go the extra mile for him, which I love, but unfortunately, don't mind my hair, but unfortunately he took like everything apart. So yeah, there's nothing more fun than getting boxes full of parts and going, where in the world did that go? But that's okay. The guy was a great guy, helped him get it a little farther down the road than I was able to at the time of my move. I think the next order of events would be, I'm gonna just run through, make sure some of these bolts are tight, put the foot pegs on so I can tighten this main engine mount. I'm gonna pop around, get the last, like kind of get this engine roughly firmly bolted in place so it's not shaking in the frame. And then I'll lay on the tank in the seat so y'all can kind of see roughly what it's gonna look like. We'll go to the rear, put the swing arm on, and we won't do too much today, just kind of get the frame all assembled and kind of start looking and seeing what all we need to start getting pieced together. So without further ado, let's go, cut to the time lapse. All right, and this is roughly how it'll look. So this tank, I believe, is off of like an old Ducati. Again, it's unfortunately gotten a little scratched in its age, or in its storage. And then he just went with like a generic cafe racer seat, and we kind of made it fit as best we could. Neither of us at the time had a ton of money to blow, so we kind of did everything on a budget. But this is kind of what it'll look like, which I think the color looks sick. I mean, from back here, when you can't see the dings and scratches, it looks awesome. So it's a great start. All right, while I was digging around, I found the front tree, or the triple tree clamp, or whatever it's called. So I'm gonna see, wow. I mean, a lot of this stuff just needs totally replaced, but on a budget, the goal first is just to get this bad boy back together, and then we can start talking modifications down the road. I'd like to get it together, get a first start, find some wheels and tires so it's a roller so I can roll it in and out of the shop as I'm doing other stuff. There's no time frame on this build, so it's probably going to be several months before I get it to the point where if he called and was like, hey bro, I'm ready for it, like, sweet, come and get it. So all that to say, it will be a little while. All right, so I got the triple tree back together, just roughly. I don't have any grease yet, so I have the top bearing just because that one's just resting in there, so I just have it resting in there, and I didn't put the bottom one in yet. So they're loose, they're not lined up, not tight, but again, just kind of got to sort through everything to piece it all together. So to be quite honest, that's probably where I'm going to end it on this video, because quite frankly, there's a lot I need to do on the back end of this before I can keep piecing it together. The next thing I'd really like to do is figure out my fork situation 100%. If I'm just going back with stocks for now, that's fine. I need to get the rear end all done, which is just a few bolts away from being back together. So I need to find wheels and tires before I can really do anything. I can reuse these forks for now if I need to, but I need wheels and tires because I need to set this on the ground, because doing the stuff like the exhaust, I can obviously do all the wiring, but I don't want to do that till it's on the ground, and like I want to do wiring last essentially. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. It's kind of a boring video. I was kind of hoping to honestly, I don't know what I was expecting. I was hoping to get more things kind of fully bolted together instead of everything kind of not really together. But it's going to be a long project, so hang with me. And if you want to see, this is what I'm going to call like a basic cafe build. We had already done some of the work on this thing to start with. But if you want any ideas or you're looking to do one, my advice would be do it. They're a lot of fun. They're easy to build. You can go extreme and spend some money on it, or you can go cheap like we're doing here and kind of working with what we got. It's not flawless, but it functions. It'll run and drive. It'll be a fun little bike for just like, you know, cruising around downtown or whatever you want to do with it. So I'm going to keep sifting through bolts and stuff on my end, try to piece some more stuff together so when I start the next video, I don't spend an hour and a half digging through the boxes. But thanks for the patience, guys, and stay tuned. I am going to try to get some content out on this within the next couple weeks. And I got to go try to do some part shopping, or maybe even ideally find a super cheap, beat up, similar bike to this that I can rob parts off of, because I am missing a lot of bolts as of right now. I don't have all the bolts for my rear end. There's a handful of stuff I'm missing. So thanks for tuning in. As always, be good, guys. Peace.